Hey, what's up everybody? Today is Sunday and I have plans to go back out to the desert, but that shock is still messed up. I have no sway bar links. I got some stuff up here to do. I'm going to delete that AC. I got some interior work to do. Really all that stuff's not really important. What's really important is that I get the shocks and the sway bar links worked out. That's all I really need to take it out for a drive. And I also have to clean this trailer out and get it organized. So that's what I'm doing. I'm cleaning, organizing, getting rid of trash, taking care of the Dodge. Oh, and another thing, I just got this Rode wireless microphone that I'm trying out today. So the audio on this video should be a lot better than my previous videos. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Class A driving requirements and hauling big trailers or not, but these things are mandatory. I could probably make a video about that. If you guys are interested in hearing more about Class A driving and hauling big trailers, leave a comment down in the comments section, and then maybe I can make a video on all that stuff. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, in the state of California, I don't know about other states, if you plan on hauling a bumper pull trailer over 10,000 pounds, or a fifth wheel trailer like this one, I mean technically this is a gooseneck, but it still hooks up the same way in the bed. A fifth wheel trailer over 15,000 pounds, then you're required to have at least a non-commercial Class A license. Most people don't get that, and most cops and my experience, CHP doesn't really check for it. They could. I got it just as a precaution because I tow a lot, and the likelihood of me getting pulled over with a trailer behind me is probably higher than others. So I don't want to have to deal with that problem. So I went ahead and got my non-commercial Class A, which is a whole new test, written and driven. And there's stuff to know about it. If you guys want to know more, let me know. All right, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a lot cleared out of here. Made a lot of good progress today, and I got a lot more to do, but that's okay. I'm gonna have to come back and try and finish this later, but I made it pretty far. I can't begin to explain what all I just did, but I got a lot of stuff out. I'm about to throw a lot of stuff away. I'm gonna clean up and get the heck out of here. So next time I come in here, I'm gonna replace that shock, do the sway bar links, AC bypass. I'll do that on the same video. So I'll just cut this here, and then when I come back, I'll just pick it up, and then I'll make this all one video. Hey, how's it going, guys? Today's Tuesday, and I'm back out here at my trailer, and I'm gonna finish what I started on Sunday. I'm gonna get the shock replaced. I'm gonna put my sway bar links on. I'm gonna get that AC bypass put on there. I don't really have a whole lot of time. It's like 1 o'clock, and I gotta be out of here in like a few hours. So I'm not gonna spend any more time really messing with any of my stuff in here. Today I'm just gonna be worried about getting the shock on there and getting this work done. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move this stuff right here outside, and then get started on this truck. So I'll put you guys up here and you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so you guys can hang out right there and watch me do my thing. And then when I get to working on the truck, I'm actually gonna bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. My intent was to go out to the desert this Friday, but that's not gonna happen. It's too tight of a timeline, and it's just, there's a lot of money and effort that goes into doing it, and I'm only gonna have 1 day out there. And with the time crunch that I have, the chances are I'll spend half of that 1 day that I have to ride just working on the Dodge. So ultimately I've decided that it's not worth the hassle to go out this weekend. So now the plan is to go out for New Year's. I think the first is on a Saturday. My anniversary is on the 31st, so this is perfect for me and my wife. We get to go out and have a good time and celebrate our anniversary with all of our friends. And I'm gonna try to make a big deal about it. Try to get a little bit bigger of a gathering than I did last time, but who knows. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get ready for New Year's weekend. So I've got 3 weeks, I think it is. Yeah. So I got 3 weeks into a New Year's, and I've got that much time to get everything sorted out, which takes a lot of stress off my shoulders. So today, you guys are gonna see me work on this guy. I just got these sway bar links from Amazon. I don't know what brand they are. I don't remember. I don't have the internet here, so I can't look up anything and tell you. What I'll probably do is I'll add in the information in the video after I get back home. But you can see they're pretty generic. I think they're Detroit axle sway bar links. I think that's what they were. I'll verify later. But yeah, there you go. So I'll put these guys on. I've got a KYB strut that I'm going to be putting on. I'll open this guy up and show you real quick. So I'm going to be installing this strut, which means we're going to have to compress the spring down to get that done. And I've got a spring compressor here. I'll show you guys how to do all of that. So that's the plan. All right, so right now, if I'm going to get it jacked up, I'm going to get the tire off and get ready to do all this. So hang tight. There's not much to see. When I get to doing the strut, I'll bring you guys in. I'm sure most people know how to take a tire off, so I'm not going to go into that. Of course, I don't have the proper bar for the jack, so I'm going to use extensions. Since it's sitting so low, this is going to be kind of hard. That jack's not quite low enough to get under there. I may end up needing a floor jack just to get started. That's not going to work at all. So I've got to get under there a little bit better. The frame is setting too low to get up underneath, so now I've got to figure out how to temporarily hold the truck where it is so I can reposition the jack under the frame. There's really nowhere to put this thing. I'm gonna try to get up under the frame over here. Maybe that'll work. All right, I'm gonna go get my bottle jack out of my Ford and see if that'll work. Sometimes you just forget you have things. So I have this here bottle jack. I'm gonna use this jack and that jack and this jack stand to kind of work it back and forth until I get enough clearance under the tire. So I've got this jack set up under a nut that goes through the frame that holds the controller on. It's not set on there very well. It's not very sturdy, and I don't recommend trying this, but if you're going to do it, just don't put all the weight of the truck on it. What I want to do is bring the frame up without lifting the truck. Just enough to get the other jack under here. At this point, if this jack falls out, it might kick left or right, but I'll be okay. The truck's not gonna fall or break anything. All right, let's see if this guy will go under there now. Absolutely, that's exactly what I wanted. So now we're gonna go like this, because the cradle of the top of the jack goes like this, and I want it to cradle the frame, not like this. I'll show you guys, I'll bring the camera down here when I'm done with all this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so the tire is off the ground, but I'm gonna keep going. I need to, because this jack is also a jack stand, but when you lower it down on the safety stop right here, it's gonna come down a little bit to lock in. So I'm gonna go up higher than what I need to, and then set it back down on the stand. And I know from experience actually that I'm gonna want to get this tire as high as I can possibly get it to clear this fender well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm probably gonna end up on somewhere around the last safety lock on this jack. You can't see it, I should bring you down here. So you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with this cradle. I want the cradle like this and not like that. And then this guy was pressed up against here just to get this underneath. So you don't want to lift the truck by this. I had to do it to get enough room. So that's guy is going to stay out of the way. I've got an extra jack stand just in case I need it. And then I'm going to get this guy up farther. So you see how high it is. I need to go higher than that. It should be locking here pretty soon, and you'll see when I get to the point where I can lower it, this lever, or this lock is going to fall down, and I'll know that I can lower the jack onto the lock and keep my fingers out of the jack itself. There it goes. There it is. So that slipped underneath. So now it'll lock. All right, so now it's sitting on that, it's completely locked. This is essentially a jack stand now. So you can bring, there's no weight on that at all. All right, and that should be enough to get that tire out. Hopefully. So pop this wheel off. Okay, that's not working. So I definitely should have broken the lugs before I got it off the ground, but I really did think that impact would do it. Sometimes you can use the momentum of the rotation, like that. It's just so much easier if you just break it with this traction. But there's a lot of momentum and force in that tire rotation, which will allow you to use it to your advantage and break the lugs. I don't want to fall. The biggest disadvantage to having a shop that is a car hauler trailer is room. It sometimes gets really hard to maneuver in this thing while you're trying to do stuff. So you'll see what I'm talking about here. When I go to pull this off, there's really not much of a gap here. Oh wow, that's the easiest it's ever come off. So it just made a liar out of me. Usually what I do with the wheels that I take off is I like to set them underneath the frame. Just in case something fails, it'll fall on the tire. There's not a whole lot of room for me to do that here. So I'm just gonna set it right there. And now I've got to pop all this loose in order to get this shock out. Well, that ratchet strap ain't good anymore. So it was rubbing right here, so that strap is useless now. But it certainly saved my butt. Maybe I'll hang it up on a wall or something. See if I can get this to go down a little bit more. This whole spindle's got to be moved out of the way. I've got several big wrenches because I don't remember what size this is. I'm actually going to do the impact with that guy. Need more force. So one trick that you can use to get to remove outer tie rods, ball joints, stuff like that, anything with a tapered shaft that's press fit into a socket. There's two very effective methods: vibration and heat. If I put some heat on there, it'll expand that metal and drop that shaft out of there. But the problem with the heat is there's a rubber boot here that covers that socket, so it keeps the grease in the socket. You don't want to compromise that. You don't want to heat that up too much and start melting the grease in there. So the best thing to do is vibration. And all you need to do is just tap it. So come right out. I'm going to go ahead and pop this brake caliper off just to make sure nothing's in my way. I need that breaker bar. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I need more light, but I just don't have it here. I'm actually gonna hold that right there for a second. I'm gonna take one of these pieces that's not really compromised, and I'm gonna use this to hold up this brake caliper when I take it off. Whenever you're removing brake calipers, and you don't want to disconnect the brake line, right? So you need to affix it somewhere here while you're doing your brakes so that it doesn't put weight on that soft brake line. So typically what you do is you put like a piece of wire or a metal hook or something, and you just hang the caliper up somewhere. This is what I have laying next to me, so this is what I'm going to use. And I just got to pick a solid point on the truck that's not pulling on a wire or something like that. So I got a little metal, a hole here in the metal of the truck, the body of the truck. And it doesn't have to be like super snug or all wrapped up and tied in a crazy way. You just need it to hold it. It doesn't take a lot. Actually, I'll show you. Instead of just explaining it, I'll show you. So here we are. Actually, I'm going to show you some more things while I'm in here. So like I said, I got a little hole here that I'm hanging this caliper from. And it's got a little weight on it, but that'll hold it, no problem. But the point is to not let this hang on this, because you'll break it. Oh, and here's what happened to the shock. While I'm here, I'll show you. So on a previous trip, I hit a bump really hard, and this little tab right here bent. The whole shock went like this, and these two tabs had bent. And I'd said it in the video, the tabs that bent, that's what I was referring to. I should probably give a little backstory on this, but I'll explain this real quick. So these two tabs right here, I know that's too close. These two tabs right here previously just buckled when I hit that bump, and they were bent. So the whole shock was setting like this. And I like I said in the previous video, my intent was to replace it because it was compromised. The integrity was compromised. And of course I dragged my feet and procrastinating, I didn't get it done. And while I was out on that last trip, the stress finally got to it and it just let go. So you can see what happened there. Now another thing that's happened that I just realized is after I put that strap on it and I rode for a while, it's set right here. So now it's chewed up my control arm, and this is a metal piece, but there's a bushing in here. There's a little rubber bushing. It doesn't look like it's going to interfere, but that doesn't look good. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to replace this lower control arm. But that presents an issue because on a previous trip, I hit a boulder right here, and I'm almost certain that this is just not quite in line anymore. So I'm kind of worried if I replace this control arm, it may never line up properly again. Oh wow, and now this hole for the sway bar link is actually marred up. I'm gonna have to drill that out. Oh well, I'll get it fixed. Not a big deal. So I will set you guys right here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. This is gonna have to be separated, if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it in my hands on it. So this control arm, this upper control arm has to be separated from the spindle in order for this strut assembly to come out. But anyways, the spring is contained mechanically within the body of the shock. So in order to replace this strut, you got to compress this spring down and pop the nut off the top. I'll show you when I get it out. Another good idea when you're working on things, whenever you take a bolt off, if at all possible, try to put the bolts back in whatever part or hole they came out of, so that when you go put things back together, it's pretty easy to see where everything is supposed to go. Now before, like I told you with the vibration trick, so it wasn't an issue here because there's no weight here, but if you hit that thing, it'll fall right out. I don't want that to happen with this. So I'm going to leave this nut threaded a little bit, so when this ball joint separates from this socket, the whole spindle won't fall out and hit me. See how I let go? Now it's going to fall on my terms, not its terms. So now that'll slide right out of the way, and I'll put this guy right back here. And I got to pull this off. It's probably a 25. Oh, 24. Sweet. Now what's this one? Is that a 22? Tell me that's a 22. Yay! Put my leg out of the way so you can see. Oh, that bushing is trashed. Yeah, this whole control arm's got to be replaced. But not right now. It'll do exactly what I needed to do right now, and I'm not that worried about it. So you can see this, that bend, if I can get it to stay still. This bend is what happened on the previous trip, and I just left it like that, and that's why I wanted to replace the strut, because I knew it would fatigue and it would eventually give out. That's exactly what happened. But you know, that's the price you pay for procrastination. But I'm actually pretty impressed at the way it broke, because the weld here on the body is still completely intact. I went with these KYBs specifically because the mount for the bottom mount here is fully welded to the shock body. I had some very old, again, eBay struts in here that were tack welded on each side, and those were the first thing to go when I started off-roading this thing again. Another problem I had is when the shock gave out, the tire hit right here, and it actually, this tab right here cut into the tire. I don't know if you can see lines. I'll show you those in a minute. but it actually rubbed on these wiring bundles right here, and now I have exposed wire that I've got to fix. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I got plenty of time to do that later. And it runs and drives the way it is, so it's not a big deal. But could short out and cause you a problem. These are great wrenches. I got a set of Craftsman ratcheting box and wrenches from a Home Depot a while back, and these are pretty good wrenches. Yep. I definitely need an actual shop to work out of. It'll do. I can get a lot done in here, but I really need a house and a big garage. So I want to rebuild this whole front suspension, and I want the control arms to mount all the way in the center so I can get longer travel without changing the wheelbase. And I can't do that here because I can't weld, I can't affix the truck in the place where I need it to be to make sure that nothing moves, so that I can get all the geometry and alignment correctly. I can't weld in here. I don't have any bending tools. I can hardly use my press. I can't grind, I can't cut. I'm very limited on what I can do in this trailer, even though I can do a lot. So I need to get out of California, I need to get my butt to Virginia, and I need to get a house and a garage so I can start doing things the way I need to do them. But for the time being, this is what I got, and I'll make the best out of it. The great thing about having a vehicle like this is it doesn't have to be perfect. Like this bushing, I don't really have to care about that. That been in K member, I don't really have to care about that. The alignment, I'm not too worried about. Yeah, eventually, it could be a problem down the road, but I'm gonna be breaking this thing quite a bit, and it's gonna be a while before it ever sees the highway again, which is a plan. So I don't really have to care so much, and that's kind of the beauty of it. Problem with going out to the desert and off-roading your daily driver, or whatever it is you got, is if you break it, you're kind of sucks. This thing, as long as I can get it back in the trailer, I don't really care. I'll fix it later. So there she is. So you can see how the spring, the coil spring, is actually contained within the body of the strut. So we're going to grab some spring compressors right here, and we're going to squeeze down this spring, and we're going to pop this nut out of the center here, and then this whole top cap will come off, and I'll be able to put the new strut through the spring. The same desert trip where I bent the tabs on this strut assembly, the old eBay shock that I had on that side fell apart, and it ejected itself from the suspension while I was going down the trail. So me and a buddy of mine, Trace, we actually had to do this same job on the other side, out in Superstition on the side of the trail. And I tell you what, that was pretty interesting. So altogether, this is my third shock replacement since I've pulled this truck out of parking. And these KYBs are actually fantastic. They're sturdy as these KYBs are the best engineered struts for durability and off-roading use that I've seen available for a Dodge Dakota. I've looked everywhere, and all of them are like the eBay ones. They just have the 2 tack welds on the mount, and that's not going to work. That'll bust. You can't hit any bumps real hard on that. It's just not a good way to do it. So these fully welded mounts are the way to go, and KYB is so far the only one that I've seen to offer it. So if you're off-roading with your Dodge Dakota, go get a set of KYBs. All right, so I'm going to change the battery out, and I'm going to set you guys up on the counter here so you guys can watch me replace that strut, and then I'll show you putting it back in. So I can show you now that there's a little bit more light over here. This is what I was referring to, how these are better built. This weld right here goes all the way around this tab, and this weld right here goes all the way around this. So this piece right here is completely welded to this body. If you get them off of eBay or you get some knockoff brands, it won't be like that. There'll be a weld right here and a weld right here, and you can easily just rip those things right off. This is what you call a spring compressor. This one I believe I got this one from Harbor Freight. I don't remember exactly, but you can see it's dirty because, like I said, the last time I had to use this, I was actually in the desert. So these guys are going to go here, and I'm going to wrench down on the ends until this thing's fully compressed. Now I think what I might do is use something to separate, to spread the coil apart to get it in. Get it on the floor. Got it. As you can see, now that it's in there, I'm going to try to run it up to get it as high in that coil as possible, and I should be able to lip this guy right in there. I'm actually going to take it all the way off to do it. I think maybe my crowbar. When in doubt, get more leverage. All right, so that's done. The issue I'm going to have here is the alignment. So you can see that's kind of cocked in towards the spring. It doesn't want to line itself up. You definitely don't want to cross-thread these things. So I need 6 hands real quick. Of course, a vise would be nice. There we go. Yep, 19. Now I've got to try to get the other side in there. Yep. Got to prepare for that. I feel like I'm definitely going to hurt something here. Almost there. See, almost there. That's where you hurt yourself. You see it happening and you get a little too careless. It slips. Next thing you know, your face is bleeding. I almost lost my face there. There we go. Okay. All right. So here's where we are. And I've got the drive ends apart from each other. These compressors are not designed for this size shock. You shouldn't have to fight to get those things in there. When you go to an automotive repair shop, they have this wall-mounted spring compressor, and it has, I can't do that angle, but it has 3 arms that come in and grab the springs at different locations, and it has a base that does the same thing, and then it has like a big hand wheel, which, you know, it just slides in just like this right here, and it could fit basically any shock. That's ideally what you want, is a wall-mounted spring compressor. So now I can't have these too close to each other. They need to be preferably 180 out on exactly the opposite side of each other. but it doesn't want to cooperate right now. That's pretty close to 180. Good enough. Get down here with me. And I don't want to compress it all that much. I really just want to see a gap right here. That'll let me know that the pressure is off of this. That worked. Now you can see how that's loose. I can take that off now. All right, so it's just spinning inside of there. And since I don't care about the strut, I'm just gonna lock it with a vice grip. If you were replacing the coil spring, you would never do that. Any machine smooth surface like that, yeah, you don't want to mar that. I don't care about that surface because I'm not keeping the strut. So now this guy comes off like that. That is terrible. That thing is destroyed. I don't think that I'm going to be able to use this. It's a bit more messed up than I anticipated. I'll show you guys this piece right here. I'll show you in the light. As a result of the shock being cocked to the side and me riding on it, this hole got wallered out, and there's no way. I mean, I could put it back together, but that's very questionable. So I think what I'm going to end up having to do is I'm going to have to replace this piece also. I'm going to actually have to leave the truck the way it is for now and come back. This coil, this last coil is pretty well stuck on the body of the shock, so I'm just kind of wedging it out. This is not how you use your flathead screwdriver. It's effective, but that's not what it's for. So the problem is you go prying with your screwdriver, you're going to break the tip clean off. And there you go. And I might actually take that whole setup with me because as I work on a military base, and they have hobby shops, an automotive hobby shop, and they have a wall-mounted spring compressor. So if I can get a new one of these off of Amazon pretty quickly, I'll take this whole setup with me on base to work this week, and just put it all together on base. And of course I'll take you guys with me, and I'll show you what a wall-mounted spring compressor looks like. I was going to put these guys in, But I need to wait until I get that coilover sorted out. So actually, before I leave here, I'm going to do this today since I have the time. I've got like 45 minutes. I'm going to clean this stuff up real quick. I'm going to get the truck in a position. Well, I'm pretty much going to leave it where it is, but I'm going to slide that tire under there just in case. Put all my stuff back in here. Well, replace that, get all my stuff back in here, and take off and come back next weekend. So this guy right here is coming out. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the belt off of it. Now when I take this belt off and I go to let this tensioner go, it's going to roll backwards further than it originally was. So when you go to put your wrench on it to loosen it, you need to take that into consideration. And I don't want to lose my place. I mean, I can figure out how the belt routing goes. It's not that hard. But just pull it off of here and just move it to the side, and you won't lose your place. So this guy isn't going to fit in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a socket wrench. That should be it. I should be able to pry that guy right off of there. I like how that opened up the space here. That's pretty cool. And the purpose of this bypass pulley is so that you don't have to get a shorter belt. Yeah. I like the way that looks, actually. Typically, rule of thumb is if you're putting something together that has multiple bolts that affix it in place, you don't want to cinch down one bolt before you get all of them started. You want to get all of them pretty well started so that you're not going to put stress on the threads as the rest of them are going in. After I get all of them run down, I'll go ahead and cinch on them. And when you're going to put the belt back on, just give it a good once over all the way around to make sure that it didn't slip off of a pulley somewhere. And there you go. Just like that, bypassed. Alright guys, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to wrap this stuff up, close this trailer up, and get home. Still got daylight. Stay tuned for part 2 of this. Alright, catch you guys later.